Have you ever felt alone, misunderstood, or like the world has turned its back on you? What if I told you that God's isolation is not rejection, but a secret preparation for greatness? Today, we're going to uncover the 7 powerful reasons why God isolates the chosen and why this season of solitude could be the most important chapter of your life. This is a message that will change the way you see loneliness, trials, and your destiny. God isolates the chosen to reveal their true character. True character is not formed in moments of celebration or when life is easy. It is forged in the fires of adversity and in the silence of solitude. When no one is watching, when the applause has faded and the world seems to have forgotten you, your true self emerges. Isolation exposes the depths of your integrity, the strength of your faith, and the resilience of your spirit. It is easy to be generous when everyone is applauding, easy to speak with conviction when the crowd agrees, and easy to trust God when life is smooth. But the test of character comes when the noise disappears, when the distractions are gone and you are left alone with your thoughts, your fears, and your God. It is in these moments that your decisions are stripped of pretense and reveal the essence of who you are. God does not need the world to validate your character. He wants to see whether you will remain steadfast, whether you will continue to do what is right, and whether you will trust Him even when the path is uncertain. The chosen are isolated, not as a form of punishment, but as a way to purify their hearts, to strip away the superficial, and to bring forth the authenticity that will define them in their destiny. In isolation, every weakness is revealed, every hidden motive surfaces, and every area that requires refinement becomes visible. The lessons learned in solitude are lessons that cannot be taught in a classroom, cannot be learned from books, and cannot be given by another person. They are lessons learned from the quiet discipline of being alone, from the deep conversations with God, from the reflection that comes when the world is silent, and from the testing that only time and solitude can provide. Character is what will carry you through your trials, what will keep you from compromise, and what will position you to fulfill your divine purpose. Without character, any success achieved is temporary, shallow, and vulnerable to collapse. God's isolation is a sacred space where the chosen are molded into individuals who can withstand the pressures of leadership, the temptations of power, and the trials of life without losing integrity, faith, or vision. God isolates the chosen to refine their vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond the present, to perceive possibilities that are hidden to the ordinary eye, and to understand the future that God has planned. The world is full of distractions, noise, and competing voices that cloud understanding and dilute purpose. Without solitude, clarity is difficult to achieve. God removes the chosen from the crowd, from the chaos, and from the influence of others in order to sharpen their focus. In isolation, the fog lifts, priorities are clarified, and the divine plan becomes visible. The chosen begin to see not only what they are called to do, but also who they are called to become. Their dreams, their goals, and their mission are refined as distractions fade and insight deepens. It is during these moments of quiet reflection that God often provides the strategies, the ideas, and the inspiration necessary for breakthrough. Vision is not simply a dream. It is a clear, purposeful, and actionable plan that aligns with God's will. Isolation allows the chosen to identify the steps required to reach their destiny without interference, to hear God's voice above the noise, and to internalize the direction that will guide them through challenges. Many never reach their potential because they never spend the time alone to clarify their vision. They follow the crowd, mimic others, or allow external pressures to define their path. But those who are isolated learn patience, discernment, and focus. They learn to distinguish between temporary desires and eternal purpose, between personal ambition and divine calling. In this quiet preparation, the chosen are equipped with a vision so powerful and precise that no obstacle, no distraction, and no opposition can derail it. God isolates the chosen to develop spiritual strength. Strength of the Spirit is not built in comfort. It is forged in trials. When life is easy, faith is convenient, patience is effortless, and endurance is unnecessary. But when God allows isolation, He places the chosen in a place where only inner strength, discipline, and reliance on Him can sustain them. The quiet moments, the long nights, and the unseen battles test the depth of one's spirit. Spiritual strength is the ability to remain unshaken when the storms of life rage, to continue walking in faith when the path is unclear, and to persevere when every human support seems absent. God does not want you to lean on the visible. He wants you to learn to lean on the invisible. He allows challenges that cannot be solved by human wisdom, pressures that cannot be overcome by personal effort, and moments that can only be endured by the power of God within. In this process, weakness is exposed so it can be transformed into resilience. Doubt is confronted so it can become unwavering faith, and fear is faced so it can turn into courage. Every trial in isolation is a spiritual gym where the muscles of your soul are exercised and strengthened. You learn discipline, patience, endurance, and unwavering trust. You learn to depend not on temporary solutions, but on eternal principles. The chosen emerge from isolation not only stronger, but also equipped to face far greater challenges than those that confine them. Spiritual strength developed in solitude becomes a foundation that supports the weight of responsibility, the pressures of leadership, and the intensity of purpose that lies ahead. God isolates the chosen to protect them from distractions. The world is full of people, opportunities, and influences that can derail a person from their divine calling. Many are surrounded by voices of doubt, distractions of comfort, and illusions of success that appear enticing but lead away from destiny. Isolation is a strategic separation that God uses to remove the chosen from these influences. It is not abandonment, it is protection. When you are alone, you are less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others, less likely to compromise your principles, and less likely to settle for what is convenient rather than what is ordained. God understands that the chosen have a purpose too great to be hindered by temporary allurements. He separates them to shield their focus, to guard their hearts, and to preserve the clarity of their mission. In isolation, the chosen are forced to confront their own desires and discern between personal ambitions and God's calling. It is a time when the mind is purified from clutter, the heart is sharpened by reflection, and the spirit is strengthened by intentionality. The distractions of fame, relationships, financial opportunities, or social validation cannot penetrate the protective silence that God provides. In this quiet, God teaches the chosen the importance of timing, discernment, and patience. He allows them to see that not every opportunity is meant for them, that not every voice should be followed, and that not every relationship will contribute to their purpose. Isolation is a divine filtering process where the distractions of the world are removed, leaving only what aligns with the calling and destiny of the chosen. It is in this sacred space that they learn to prioritize what truly matters, to invest in what endures, and to walk with precision toward their God-given vision. Those who embrace this period of solitude emerge with clarity, focus, and an unwavering sense of direction, ready to fulfill the purpose for which they were uniquely created. God isolates the chosen to teach dependence on Him alone. Many people live their lives relying on human wisdom, human approval, and human resources. Yet God's plan requires a deeper connection that cannot be mediated by anyone else. In isolation, the chosen are removed from their comfort zones, separated from those who usually offer advice, support, or encouragement, and placed in a position where they must rely completely on God. This is a transformative process because it reveals how much of life has been lived depending on temporary or unreliable sources. Isolation strips away the illusions of self-sufficiency and exposes the truth that without God, human effort is limited, human guidance is flawed, and human protection is temporary. The chosen learn to pray with sincerity, to trust with courage, and to listen with attentiveness. Every decision made alone becomes an exercise in faith. Every challenge faced without visible help becomes a demonstration of trust, and every step taken forward in solitude becomes a declaration that God is enough. Through this process, dependence on God is not taught as a theory, but experienced as a reality. The chosen begin to understand that their strength, wisdom, and breakthrough are not products of personal effort alone, but the result of divine partnership. This dependence fosters humility, shapes character, and produces a level of faith that cannot be shaken. It teaches the chosen to seek God first, to rely on His timing, and to trust that every situation, every setback, and every season of waiting is orchestrated for their ultimate benefit. In learning to depend on God alone, the chosen develop a confidence that is not contingent upon circumstance, people, or material resources, but rooted in the certainty of divine presence and divine power. God isolates the chosen to prepare them for leadership and greater purpose. True leadership is not about position, recognition, or popularity. It is about responsibility, vision, and the ability to guide others through challenges while remaining faithful to a higher calling. Isolation is the crucible in which leaders are refined. God removes the chosen from the distractions, the influence, and the immediate pressures of the world so that they can develop the qualities necessary to lead effectively. In solitude, they learn patience, discernment, courage, and the ability to make decisions that are not influenced by fear or favor. Leadership requires clarity of purpose, and clarity is seldom achieved in the noise of the crowd. It is in isolation that the chosen can focus on their mission, cultivate wisdom through reflection, and gain insight into the needs of those they will one day lead. Greater purpose often requires sacrifice, discipline, and preparation that cannot be rushed. The chosen are taught to endure waiting periods, to navigate challenges independently, and to cultivate a vision that transcends personal ambition. Isolation equips them to withstand criticism, opposition, and trials without compromise. They learn that leadership is less about personal gain and more about responsibility to a calling, less about being served and more about serving others with integrity and wisdom. Through this preparation, the chosen emerge not only ready to lead, but capable of inspiring, influencing, and transforming the lives of those under their care. God's isolation is strategic, ensuring that when the time comes to step into leadership, the chosen have been molded, strengthened, and clarified in purpose. The lessons learned in solitude, though unseen by the world, form the foundation upon which great leadership is built. And the vision developed in isolation becomes the compass that guides the chosen toward their ultimate destiny. God isolates the chosen to reveal character, refine vision, develop spiritual strength, protect from distractions, teach dependence, and prepare for leadership and greater purpose. Every lonely moment, every trial, every silent night is not wasted. It is shaping you into the person God created you to be. Isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. It reveals who you truly are, sharpens what you are meant to see, strengthens what you will face, shields what you are called to preserve, teaches you to rely on the divine, and equips you to lead with clarity and impact. The chosen are not forgotten. They are being refined, focused, and positioned for a destiny far greater than the world can imagine.